This video will help you solve multi-step equations. This is for section 2.1 and 2.2. We'll look at the first example here. We actually have a fraction involved, so I'll show you how to deal with that at the end. But before we can do that, we're going to get started on combining any like terms that we may have. In this case, we have like terms on the right side. I'm talking about those two right there. And I want you to consider the negative with the 12 sign. Even though it's a subtraction sign, think about that as negative 12. So when we add those two together, we will get negative 4. So we're going to rewrite our equation as 8 equals 3/2 w minus 4. So in essence, we've just combined our two like terms. So anytime you have like terms on one side, go ahead and combine those first. Okay, so our next step is to get rid of the minus 4 here. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the minus 4 basically by adding 4 to both sides. So plus 4 and plus 4, and then we'll rewrite the equation. And the equation now looks like 12 equals 3/2 w. We've gotten rid of the minus 4 there. Okay, so our next step is going to be to get rid of the 3/2 next to the w. So what we want to do in that case is I'm going to rewrite it up here so we have a little room to work with. Okay, over 3/2 w over there, and we could divide both sides by 3/2, so that would look like this. It starts to get messy in that case, so what I suggest that we do instead of doing that is to multiply by the reciprocal of what's on the right side. So what is the reciprocal of 3/2? Well, that's going to be 2/3. So that's going to be the same as dividing by 3/2. So multiplying by 2/3 here, and that's easy to see why these things cancel out, leaving the w, which is what we want. But of course, if we multiply the right side by 2/3, we better multiply the left side by 2/3 as well. So we'll do that over here. So 2/3 times 12, and that's going to be 24 over 3 equals w. And of course, that reduces down to 8. So our final answer will be w equals 8. Our next example looks at one side that's being divided by 3. So we have to remind ourselves again what undoes division by 3. And of course, we'll remember that multiplying by 3 undoes division by 3. So it's going to look like this. So we're going to be multiplying the left side by 3 over 1. If it helps you write it as 3 over 1. And of course, if we multiply the left side by 3, we should multiply the right side by 3 as well. And you can see now why those are going to cancel out to make a 1 there. And so what we're left with is 4x plus 1 equals 33. Now we've gotten rid of our denominator of 3. All right, now this is a simple two-step equation from this point. So we want to be able to subtract 1 from both sides and rewrite. So we get 4x equals 32. Then, of course, we're going to divide by 4 in this case to get rid of the 4 next to x. And our final answer will be x equals 8. Okay, the final example I have for you here is something that has variables on both sides. And we have several steps to do here. So when we look at this equation, the first thing we notice is we have x on the left, we have x's on the right, and so what we want to do is think about getting all the x's on one side. But before we can do that, we need to kind of consider what's happening here with the parentheses. And I want you to think about this negative 2 going with the negative sign going with the 2. So when you distribute here, you'll remember to distribute the negative as well. And then that way it'll be taken care of. So let's rewrite here. I'm just going to bring down the 3x. And we have negative 2x for multiplication. Whoops, not m, it's x. And at that point, okay, now that I have my variables straight, that's going to be an x there. And then we're going to be subtracting 6 because we're doing negative 2 times 3, which gives us negative 6. And on the right side, notice I haven't done anything yet because I just want to do distributive property on the left side there first. Next step is we're going to combine like terms. And over here I see we have 3x minus 2x. That's going to give us an x. So we're left with x minus 6 equals 5 minus 2x. And now you can see we're getting it simplified better. And of course, we want to get all our x's on one side. So you can go either direction. You can either subtract x from both sides or add 2x. I'll choose to add 2x. But again, either way would be correct. And once we have that down, we'll add this up to give us 3x minus 6 equals 5. And then we have a two-step equation. Again, we're going to add 6 to both sides here. And once we do that, I'm going to skip that step. We've added 6 to both sides. So we get 11 over here. And then we're going to divide by 3. And so we get x equals 11 thirds. And that concludes our work with solving multi-step equations. Hope that helped. Thank you. Bye.